What's going on, guys? We're doing a Q&A today, but before we get into a Q&A, I actually have some questions to hit you guys with. So, a lot of you have been following the channel for a while. For one, I really appreciate it, but two, I want to know you guys' thoughts and opinions on some things before I get into y'all's questions. I would say just go ahead and listen to all the questions first, and then just write them all in one comment so it's kind of easy for me to go through, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So my first question for y'all is, what is your favorite video that we have done on the channel? This is going to help me kind of like figure out kind of like the style of video that y'all have enjoyed the most. Not like the most viewed or popular, but like which one have you guys enjoyed watching the most, and maybe just like list a reason why. Second thing is, what is your favorite animal that we featured on the channel? So like maybe your favorite video doesn't have your favorite animal. If it is, just say same as the first question, but I just want to find out what kind of animals you guys enjoy seeing the most. I really try to cover a wide variety of animals on the channel, but certain ones seem to get a lot more media attention, a lot more views. Maybe some of you guys enjoy seeing frogs and, I don't know, rodents or something like that more than any of the other animals that we feature on the channel. Maybe some of you are just gonna enjoy the snakes that we post most of the time, turtles, whatever. So just let me know what animal you guys enjoy the most. And thirdly, what location would you guys like me to film in the most? So this is one I've been thinking about a lot. I'm always thinking about different places to go and feature different animals. What is a location that maybe you guys are curious about? It can be anywhere on the planet. We're not limiting this to like realistic budget or anything like that. If I could go somewhere and film animals, what would y'all want to see and where? And lastly, what do you guys think about the channel overall right now? Give it a rating on a scale of like 1 to 10, and I'm talking like, you know, profile picture, the content, the editing, the filming, the cinematography. Don't take budget into account, don't take any of that stuff into account. Just rank it fairly, comparing it to other channels that you watch, and this will kind of like give me a good idea of like where I should kind of like estimate where we're at as opposed to where we need to be. I really want to raise quality. I want to start filming as many animals as possible, and you guys' feedback is going to be very helpful in that. So whatever honest answers you guys can give to those questions will be very much so appreciated. So now I'm going to get to some of you guys' questions over here. So we got Timothy asking, have you ever traveled to Oklahoma and Arkansas? Tons of wildlife over there. I'm going to blur out the more specific location. Don't worry. You know, I saw a little discussion underneath that about that. Yeah, so I have not been to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and I'm even going to include Missouri in that because they're very similar habitats and wildlife, but I really want to. That area is incredibly gorgeous. Oklahoma has a few different places that I need to visit. Lots of incredible wildlife there. A lot of salamanders, frogs, snakes, you name it, but the habitat is gorgeous. It's just insane. So yes, we definitely need to go, but no, I have not gone, so that's going to make it really fun. Have you ever traveled to a mangrove forest like the ones in Florida? So we actually kind of like passed through the ones in Florida, and you can see some of the wildlife that we filmed in those mangrove areas, but we really haven't featured the habitat. So that's something I want to give a whole trip to, is a location, an island, something that is just 100% mangroves, because there's so much to film there. Who inspired you when it comes to herpetology? I understand croc hunter, but are there others, or was it just an event in your life with reptiles and I friggin' love it? Well, a little bit of both when it comes to that. I mean, I had some moments as a kid where it was like finding things that made me really happy, but the two people that I would say that have inspired me the most when it comes to wildlife, the number one is going to be my dad. 100% of the time I'm going to say that, because he's the one who got me into wildlife, he's the one who's taught me about it. And then Steve Irwin has definitely influenced all of the cinematography aspects, the learning about presenting education and conservation to the public. I mean, nobody's going to deny that he was the best at that, so obviously he's going to be the inspiration for all of that. But when it comes to the love for wildlife and the care for it, definitely came from my dad. And then the conservation and the research side of it, I think, was just kind of inbuilt into me. And I've just kind of grown that and developed that. And I pick little pieces of stuff from other people that they're doing in order to kind of like improve my arsenal, my abilities and skills and my knowledge. Obviously, I need to learn from other people because there's a lot of information to learn. But mostly it's just going to be those two, my dad and Steve Irwin. Eastern indigo snakes, have you gotten involved with any organizations like Orion Society or participated in some surveys? So I actually haven't. I've talked to Orion Society, just like some of their people there, and I want to give them like a little bit of a shout out. Amazing organization. They do some incredible work for habitat construction, habitat preservation, and some of the most reptile work that you'll see anywhere in the South. Really great people. Seem like they genuinely care about conservation. But I haven't really done anything with them, any kind of work or anything like that. But I'd love to film with them in the future. We'll just have to have the time and just kind of plan it with them. But they're very open people. They're awesome. You know, I'd say check out some of their sites. They do a lot of work with indigo snakes, lots of work with big, rare, and even sometimes dangerous reptiles, so I definitely support them. They're a great group. I go herping quite often. Once in a while I find a hognose snake, but I've wondered if you've ever seen one play dead like they say they do. Yeah, so I've seen them play dead, hood up, all the like. I mean, they do all of it. It really depends on the hognose that you run into, but yeah, what I've actually found is their initial response, at least the more scared ones, is gonna be to play dead, and then after that they're just gonna hood up and then just keep hooding up. So they might not play dead multiple times, but they'll definitely hood up multiple times. That's just what I've seen. Pretty limited, I know, but yes, I definitely have seen it. It's really cool. We do definitely need to film it one day. Do you think a full-grown eastern diamondback could eat a raccoon, possum, or any other prey that size? Absolutely. I mean, a really massive diamondback and maybe like a medium to small possum or raccoon, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people exaggerate the finds of the rattlesnakes that they see. Like, you know, everybody's like, oh, I found a 9-foot, a 10-foot rattlesnake, stuff like that. But rattlesnakes can get, like, bigger than my arm. Like, they'll get huge. So, I mean, it's definitely not a stretch to say. And there have been instances of them eating smaller ones, so I would definitely say, yeah, they could probably eat a pretty large one, especially when they're full-grown monsters that we rarely see anymore. What is the furthest you've traveled from Louisiana? I'll have to think about that for a bit. I don't know which is actually, no, I do know which one's further. Arizona, for sure, which is kind of sad to think about. I've actually not left the country before. I've not taken an international trip anywhere. It's all just been within the United States. I actually kind of go everywhere within my little southern border. I'm like running all over the place in Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida and all those places that are kind of like within rocket runs where I can just run out and then come back. So that's where I'm spending a lot of my time lately, but I kind of want to change that. I do want to spend more time traveling and learning from some other people from some different locations, because obviously the more experience you get, the more that's going to help your local work as well. So I can kind of implement the way that somebody else does something, like say in California, or even crazier, like go down to Costa Rica or over in Japan or something like that. They're going to do things totally different there. So I definitely intend to travel a lot more, especially in the next few years. What are you going to school for?
I'm going to school for biological sciences and ecology, guys. That's what I'm going to school for.
So I'm going to school to become a biologist and zoologist. My terms are very general, but the actual terminology is biological sciences and ecology. And I would really like to study mammals. I would specifically like to study apex predators and keystone species. Even though you're not going to hear a lot about that, the few papers that I drop within my life are probably going to be on that, but that's all really boring stuff. I am zoologist YouTube man who filmed the zoology on YouTube. That's what I'm going to school for, really. I'm going to school to learn and get better at what I actually do, which is filming, educating, so that's my focus. I'm raising my grandson, he's 4, and he seems not to care for any type of bug, critter, etc. What are some things that you can do to encourage interest with animals? So, obviously, some animals you might just not be interested in as a kid, you know, but kids are gonna typically like reflect their parents. Like if you're scared of something, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna mess with that. That seems... the big people said that's a bad idea, so I'm just not gonna do that. Obviously, some people are just gonna be more naturally inclined to be interested in stuff like that, and some won't, and that's okay. That's not something to make a big deal about, but definitely just showing a lack of fear and your excitement for it. So if I'm like, oh my goodness, look at it, it's a speckled king, you know, like you can do that with a fork, with a little kid. You're just like, oh my goodness, it's a fork. You know, if you're excited about it and you want to share that, you just show your excitement. It's like, oh yeah, this is really cool, and this is why. And if they're interested in it, they'll pick it up, and then sometimes they'll just be like, meh. Just teach them right. That's the best thing I can say, is just teach them what's accurate. In videos like here, you seem very low-key, almost tired. Do you ever force yourself, pump up your energy? Like, there's obviously times I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be exhausted. There are also times I'm going to be super hyped. It also depends on the video that we're filming. So for instance, if I'm filming, let's say, a cottonmouth, you know, I see cottonmouths all the time. They're a really cool animal, and I really appreciate them. But it's like, I'll be walking around, and I'll just be like, cottonmouth, cottonmouth, cottonmouth. And obviously it's not going to be like, oh my goodness, oh, a cottonmouth, every single time that I find. Sometimes it's going to be like, cottonmouth, check that out. It's a nice big one. Yeah, I'm just going to say really basic things about it because I've seen them a million times. Whereas if I find, I don't know, a diamondback in my own state, it's going to be like, whoa, oh, this is insane. So it's gonna vary. My reaction, my excitement, it's all gonna vary on circumstance, you know? So like if I've been driving around for 10 hours and I'm tired, I'll be like, all right, guys. Like, I'm gonna do my job, I'm gonna give the information, but I'm gonna be tired. I'm like, all right, we're driving around, we're looking for stuff. As opposed to a trip where it's like, oh, bang, new animal, then I'm gonna be really excited. So I'm a person. It just depends on what I find, you know? Depends on how excited I am. I don't have to force myself to really do anything. Where do you learn all the stuff that you know about herps? Is it your own research, reading and stuff, or from classes you're taking? It is definitely not from classes, I can tell you that much. No, the most helpful thing I'm learning right now is taxonomy, and taxonomy it's kind of, it could be better. But yeah, no, mostly information, like more general information, is going to be from reading. I have a lot of field guides that I really like reading, but also do not underestimate the internet. You can find anything on there. I've actually had some people leave hate comments that are like, you can just look this stuff up on the internet. I'm like, yeah, you can find anything on that thing. Of course it's on the internet. I could probably figure out how to make a nuclear bomb if I spent long enough on that thing, actually. Alright, that one doesn't come up as easy as I thought it would. But yeah, definitely use the resources at your disposal. You know, you've got lots of different sites that you can use to find information, but when it comes to like the hands-on experience, like a lot of information that I give is really niche. So it's like, this habitat is good for this thing, and this is a good sign for what we're looking for. That's not something you're typically going to read in a textbook. Sometimes I'll talk about temperatures and all this other little weird niche things with animals, and that is going to be from the field experience. It's from me spending day in and day out in nature, unless I'm locked in a classroom, which really sucks, but I'm typically going to be out in nature. And you also asked if you have any advice for starting YouTube and stuff like that, and I do. Just stick with it. Just keep making videos. Do what you want to do, in the sense that, like, you know, if you enjoy something, focus on that. There's a lot of statistical analysis when it comes to YouTube. You're going to figure out all these little niche things about truly figure out how to make good videos, not just good wildlife videos. And that's something that I'm still learning myself. But typically, as you're starting off, just find the niche that you want to do, which is going to be just what you want to do. And there's going to be other people that want to see that. So that's what I would say to focus on, is doing what you want to do in that sense, but also pushing yourself a little bit schedule-wise. Meaning, like, if you post one video a month, then it might not do so well. But if you post once a week, twice a week, so kind of pushing yourself to explore new things, to learn new things, and to do more with YouTube is what I would recommend. Just push yourself. I'd say set an upload schedule and just try to meet that, and that is the best way to succeed. Are you a real blonde? Yes, I'm a real blonde, and you'll notice in the wintertime my hair darkens up a lot, and it's because everything gets cloudy or I'm not going out as much. So yes, I'm a real blonde. It just lightens up whenever I'm outside in the sun more. What's better, mainland reticulated pythons or green anacondas? I would rather find a green anaconda. Like going down the Amazon and just seeing a big anaconda, that would be like the dream. Do you ever get lost in the middle of grasses and trees whenever you're out filming? No, I actually haven't gotten lost, really. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been lost. I found what looked like a black snake with a venomous viper head in Louisiana. Up close examination had a little bit of minimal patterning, guessing a juvenile cottonmouth. Yeah, so I mean, that analysis sounds pretty right. I would definitely recommend not just going off the head, because obviously your water snakes can do their little spreading out of their mouth thing, so it could have been a water snake species. Obviously, it's impossible for me to tell 100%, but based on that, darker black snake, minimal patterning, it could have been a medium to a young cottonmouth. Baby cottonmouths are like super patterned, so they're not going to be like dark black. There's no like one thing. You really got to like generally learn stuff. So, but if you send me a picture of it, I'll ID it. I'm over on Instagram. I have my link down below. If y'all ever like see a snake, sometimes I'm a bit slow to respond over there because I'm not on it a bunch, but if you guys send me a picture over there, I'll do my best to help you identify it. And pictures work, especially if it's a good one. I'll be able to identify it for you. How do we get them in Arizona at the same time for a collaboration? That's a good question. Honestly, like, just reach out. I mean, start asking everybody. Like, I don't know if you can form like a group chat. You're the connector. You like connect with everybody. I don't interact enough. I know Burke and Jeff, they're really awesome because they came down here. And but I haven't met anyone else. I've talked with them a little bit, but I haven't met any of them. So that sounds like a pretty good collaboration to me that we'd probably catch mad snakes on that trip. That would be like, that's like the A-team of snake catching on YouTube right there. I mean that would be, just with this group alone, not including anybody else, that would be 7 of us, and I mean we would catch some snakes. That'd be a pretty good trip. So I mean, I'm down. Just let me know time of year and I'll try and plan for it. What is the most docile snake species you've ever handled? On average, I'm gonna say that's corn snakes, because there's nothing like picking up a fully wild corn snake and it's just sitting there. It's like it expected you to come up to it. It's like a pet. Corn snakes are incredible for that. I mean, I've run into some very casual king snakes. Things like ringnecks and decays aren't typically going to be doing anything. But on average, corn snakes, super chill, super fun snake. Jacob, you left too many comments. I'm going to hit yours really quickly. Why do you do what you do? Education through conservation, and because I think we need animals for the next generation. What is the neatest part about working with wildlife? The wildlife. No, but like actually like just being able to see so many different areas and kind of like understand them and really appreciate what we have. That's probably one of the neatest parts about working with wildlife, just appreciating them. What is an animal that you would love to get to work with someday? Oh man, I've already worked with so many. What are you talking about? Wait, what am I saying? Mountain lions. What am I saying? Mountain lions all day long. Bro, best animal in the United States by far. We need more of them. We need them in neighborhoods. We need them in your yard. They're awesome. What is the scariest moment you've had while being out in nature? I have not had a scary moment. I'm going to be real with you. I've never like had a moment where it's like, oh, I could have died. I've got a little scar on my wrist from a little baby gator. If that's what you want. It's right there. That's the only scar on my body from an animal, because I don't get bit by stuff, but yeah, I haven't really had a scary moment. What is your favorite of the following? Snake, turtle, lizard, bird, mammal, and your reasons. Well, y'all might hate me for this. I'm going to say mammal. And the reason I say mammal is just because they're incredible. You get foxes and mountain lions and bears. Like, they're just an incredible... I love snakes and turtles, lizards, birds, all that stuff. You're going to see more turtles, lizards, and snakes on the channel because I can go up and pick it up and like kind of show it to you guys. I'm more hands-on. That's my focus, is hands-on. Mammals are a little bit more complicated. Handling them is stressful for them, so that's why you only really see like my pet mammals on the channel typically. By the way, Keith, I do want to hit you with this. You were one of the very few people to donate whenever we did our little fundraiser through YouTube. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And the money did get used. If you like want to see exactly what it went to, just like shoot me an email or a DM or whatever and I'll show it to you. But it's being filmed still. I didn't think this documentary would take so long, but it's still being filmed. You're not going to see it for a little while, but it does get mentioned in the video. It's just taking a lot longer than I thought it would because I'm trying to make this a good video. How old are you in 2022? I am 20 years old. I know, I'm an old man. I'm going to be 21 this November. It's super sad. Do you have a girlfriend? And if not, do you want one? Hey Zach, I just want to say how much I enjoy your work. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I was wondering if you've ever gotten offers from like TV and cable shows before, giving you an interest in your own show. No, so I think that's a little bit more complicated than a lot of people think. It's not just like that they pick somebody, they're like, oh, you're a good presenter, yoink, and they just kind of pick you out for that. It takes, like, oftentimes the people on those shows are their own producers, or they like presented this stuff for years. So, I mean, I've gotten offers to help with TV shows. I've had a couple of Nat Geo people reach out and they're like, hey, if we ever need help with this, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm perfectly content to not have a TV show. I'd much rather grow my own channel. I have the control over my channel, so nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't say. Not to mention, I can always do an information check on my own videos, whereas with a TV show, they might like insert something that's like not accurate. So what was your most surprising find? Like, what was the most out of place or well out of its range that you've ever found? That's a good question. Well, we had a weird moment. It's actually one of our older videos where we found false map turtles way south of where they're supposed to be. And I did find out later that there's actually like an invasive population there. So that's one that was out of its range. I'm trying to think. There's got to be more. I've had a couple of like range updates for species that were pretty good, but it was still within the range of the animals, so I don't know if you're going to count that. But yeah, I'd say the false map turtle, but besides that, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Are you single? Yeah, when is somebody going to sponsor you to go to Africa and do a video on Gaboon vipers? You're it. You're the sponsorship. just keep watching my videos. Keep sharing them, and then I'll be able to go to Africa. In all seriousness, that would be incredible. You know, if somebody wants to do that, we need to film some wildlife. We need to get people knowing about some animals. So yeah, when is somebody gonna sponsor? Who knows? It might be one of you. I don't know. How old were you then and now before starting the channel? I was 15 when I started the channel, and now I'm 20. I mean, it's been over 5 years now, so that's pretty wild to think about, that a fourth of my life has been spent doing weekly uploads. That's kind of cool. What field of biology interests you the most? I mean, zoology, obviously. This may have been covered in a video that I missed, but how are things going with Iris? Great question. So, I'm actually doing a full video, like, on her whole process from keeping to release. I'm still editing it, but there is going to be an update on it. It's going to be the last video with her. But yes, it is coming out, and it's going to cover like all the different scientific aspects along with the hype, along with the keeping. So yes, we are going to be doing an update with that, and you're going to get like all the details on it from there. So I'm really excited about that video. It might take a while. It might not be out till like the end of fall. All these big videos take a while to edit, so I'm sorry about that, but I want them to be good. So yes, you are going to get one more Iris video. Keep your southern accent. Okay, a lot of people point this out. A lot of people point out that it leaves and comes back. Explain to me. Explain to me how the accent leaves. I can't even tell you what my accent is. And y'all are like, oh, it left this video. I'm like, what do you mean? Where did it go? I can't tell that I talk different, if I'm being honest. What snake has given you the most painful bite? I don't know. Oh, you know what? I had a racer snag my nose pretty recently. I don't know if you can see it. There's still a little bit of a scar right there. So I do have 2 animal scars, not just the gator. Because like he came out, it was like a 5-foot ray. He was huge. Came up, boom, nailed me on the nose, and he like chewed it. And I was like, so that was my worst snake bite that I've taken. But I've never taken a venomous snake bite, and I should never. Goodness, don't let me take a snake bite, please. Jacob, I'm going to end on you. You had to ask a question last for some reason. But who operates your camera for you? My friend Cole has been operating the camera with us for a while. He's been around since the channel started. He filmed like the 2nd video. But now he's kind of filming more consistently. Also, I film sometimes. Sometimes it'll just be a solo video. Sometimes I will just film it. And if I'm ever taking a trip, just whoever is with me will film it. So if me and my dad take a trip, he'll help me film. This last trip that we took, I had Spencer and my friend Bradley help me film. So it really varies, but right now Cole is doing most of our filming. It can vary, it just changes. Well, this was kind of a long video, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, if you've forgotten already, just make sure to go and hit me with some of those questions, because it will really help the channel. And once again, all the support on the channel means a lot to me. I really want to work on getting the highest quality wildlife videos that we possibly can. And while our budget is small, and while all this stuff is kind of small right now, I think that's a good thing. I don't think the channel needs to blow up, especially at my experience level when it comes to YouTube and animals and all this different things. So I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys' continued support. And also, for those of you who waited till the very end of the video to watch this, I'm actually sending out merch to some of our very long-time YouTube viewers. So if you consider yourself to be somebody who's been watching for a while, it can be a DM, an email, doesn't matter. And we've got our 3 different shirt designs. You know, and I'm just going to be sending out the last ones that we have to some of my longtime viewers, because I think y'all deserve it. You've been watching for so long, and I just want to show my appreciation. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this one, make sure to check out some of our other Q&As that we've done in the past. They might not be as good, but maybe they'll cover a question that I didn't cover in this video. That's all for today, and I will see you guys next time. Perfect. I nailed it. I did such a good job that video.